and I led investigations to dismantle cross-border drug trafficking organizations. So I have unique insight into the public safety concerns facing our community. Before that, I was a practicing attorney in the private sector, and I represented local technology companies, internet companies like Google and Yelp. The Salk Institute was a client, did some pro bono work for the Surfrider Foundation. So I've had a lot of different experience with different types of litigation, ranging from contract and employment disputes to land use, intellectual property, securities, you name it. And this is valuable experience to bring to the City Council. I know not everybody loves an attorney, I get that. And I'm not saying we should have 9 attorneys on the City Council, but how about 1? There's not any right now. And there's a lot of very important decisions that get made in these closed-door sessions with Jan Goldsmith. And there's nobody on the council right now to kind of push back on that, and I'd love to serve that role. I've been a long-time leader and volunteer in the community. Until recently, I was president of the Women's Bar Association Lawyers Club. And under my leadership, this past year, we put a lot of new initiatives forward to advance women in the workplace, and we strengthened our role as advocates for disadvantaged women and children in the community. And as a result of that, our membership grew from 900 to 1,200 in just 1 year, and I'm so proud of that. And I've also been a volunteer water quality control monitor for the Coastkeeper organization and have mentored young women as they age out of foster care, and on, just like all of you, I'm sure, many volunteer things in the community. But the main thing that I would like all of you to think about when you are casting your ballot and you're deciding who you want to vote for in this election, I want you to think about me as a fighter. I am a strong advocate. I've advocated for justice, for equality, for our community, and I'm going to take those advocacy skills to City Council and fight to make sure that our neighborhoods get their fair share of resources. And I'm also going to fight to preserve the character of this community. And we'll talk about that more. And right now at City Hall, there's a lot of cronyism and waste that still goes on. This Balboa Park Centennial debacle is a good example of this, unfortunately. You have a situation where the city approved $15,000 a month for a CEO, $8,000 a month for consultants. They paid a lot of other consultants. They took a trip to Panama, and over 2 years later, we're $2.8 million in the hole and absolutely nothing to show for it. We've got to have more transparency and more accountability, particularly for these consultants at City Hall. And I'd like to serve that function. I think my prosecutorial background will aid me. Not afraid to ask tough questions and sift through large volumes of documents to find key pieces of evidence. And I think this will be a helpful thing to bring to the council for a lot of different reasons. In addition to that, public safety is a top priority of mine, having come from the law enforcement community. It's clear that our police department has been underfunded for far too long. We're not paying our officers a salary commensurate with surrounding jurisdictions, so we spend all this money to train them, we spend all these officer resources to train them, and then after a few years they go somewhere else, and we got to start all over again. That's incredibly inefficient. It costs the city more money in the long run when you look at some of these lawsuits that we're facing. The officers that aren't being properly trained, you're having junior officers trained by junior officers, and on top of that, we've got half the force is set to retire in the next 3 to 4 years. And this is a crisis level situation. We're not there yet, but you can see it coming, and we got to be proactive about this. So that's going to be a huge priority for me. Obviously, we've got a $2 billion backlog in our infrastructure, and when I've been talking to voters, well, for a long time, but door to door, almost 7 days a week since December. And the number one thing I hear at the door, and this is not going to shock any of you, is the streets. And it's not just the fact that the streets haven't been updated, or there's so much delay in the repairing of the streets, but it's also incredibly inefficient the way they do it. They come in and they'll tear up the street, fix your sewage lines, and then 3 months later they'll come back and tear it up again and fix something else. I mean, it's such a waste. And there's ways that we can be more efficient with this. You know, if we upgrade our city's data, we could take advantage of software programs and assign a date certain for each street. You as the resident could go online and see what date your street's going to get repaired. Is the pothole or the other problem that you want to report already on there? If not, you could add it. You could submit a form. I mean, there's so much more we could be doing to kind of get with the program with technology to make these things work better. And that's the kind of thing that I'm pushing for, common sense solutions to our problems. Someone's having a good time. I love it. I have 2 dogs too. I'm a big fan. And finally, well, I guess second to last is I want to be a voice for the coast. now that these lines of this district have been redrawn, we're Point Loma, Midway, Ocean Beach, Mission Beach, Pacific Beach, of course, Bayho and Bay Park, and then a little bit more on the western side of Claremont and Loma Vista. So we are the coastal community, and it's important that whoever holds the seat is a strong environmental advocate. I'm proud to have been endorsed by the Sierra Club and the League of Conservation Voters. So making sure that we preserve this beauty is a huge priority for me, and preserving our view of this beauty is also a big priority of mine. And I think, I don't know, maybe this is I think that's kind of a rough overview of my background and the priorities, but I don't know if this is appropriate time to start talking about the 60-foot height limit issue and the development along Marina Boulevard and all that. Rhoda, do you want me to go on to that part now?
Yeah. Do you want me to say something first, or you want to just go ahead? You can explain the issue.
Well, yeah, I mean, you all are familiar, I think, at this point that I guess I just want to outline kind of my observations of the evolution of all of this. Right now, as you all know, they're going to extend the trolley line on Marina Boulevard, which is fine. I mean, I take the trolley to work. It's a great thing. Public transit's a good thing. But of course, in addition to that, they want to build up developments near the trolley stations and then kind of around the trolley stations to increase density. And there's talk, of course, proposal. They can call it a study, but I think when you suggest that we do something, I think of it as a proposal. It's kind of semantics. To raise the height limit near those trolley stations to 60 feet. And I think that's a huge mistake. And I've always felt, I mean, I've heard people, the thing that's interesting, I mean, this isn't something that's like brand new. This has been going on. They've been planning this and talking about this in the city for a very long time. And if you look at this study in some of the earlier pages, page 35, they list some of the people that were briefed on this study in advance. And Lori Zaff is on this list. So she's known about this, and the city's known about this for a very long time. And that's probably why when she was giving a speech to the Apartment Building Association in January, which is reported by the Daily Transcript, and I think that everyone should go Google this for yourself, see it for yourself, don't take my word for it. She said, "We have a trolley that will go along Marina Boulevard. But up until now, we haven't had planning there. We need to look at a plan with more height and density and less parking than we see there today." End quote. That's a quote. So that's in January of this year. End of January of this year. There's a follow-up article in the Daily Transcript. Again, please Google it. Look it up for yourself. That says that her vision for the area is more height, more density, less parking. So then you fast forward to the Claremont Planning Board meeting. Was anyone here at that meeting? Yes. Okay, thank you. So that was like, we're at about 2 weeks ago now. And of course, that's the first time that many of us actually heard about the details of this plan or study or proposal, whatever the heck you want to call it, for the first time. Of course, Lori had 2 staff members there. So I mean, to say, she's aware of the anger. I've never seen so many angry people in one place. And I wanted to make it very clear. I raised my hand at that meeting and said, unequivocally, adamantly oppose raising the height limit under any circumstances. I think it doesn't make sense for this area. I mean, are you kidding me? Come on. And if you look at the map, I mean, we're right along Mission Bay. I mean, to cut that off, it's not even just the view, it's the vibe, it's the air, it's everything. So I mean, I didn't need to see everybody all angry to kind of figure that out. And you would think with someone who's lived in this area for a long time, that would be instinctual. So it makes you wonder, did she not have a good enough sense of the community that she purports to want to represent? Or did she know and want to see if we might be able to get it through anyway?
One of the things that people don't realize where they're talking about the height, I live on Hartford Court over here, but it's from, remember JR's Breakfast? Okay, so that is 60 feet and all the way down past Cecil's is what they're talking about. So it's essentially a seawall. They tried it in Mission Hills, they tried it in Del Mar, and those communities had enough money, and they look at those communities differently than they look at our community. And so, every one of our property values, when you don't have a view or you're on the east side of the road, it's gonna, and when they drive down and their mortgages are higher than now what their